February 1, 2017. CIA Russian spies reveal shocking Vatican plot to assassinate Trump using Mexican cartel hit team. Another horrifying report circulating in the Kremlin today issued by the Security Council, SC, states that of the 6, ENG, Federal Security Service, FSB, operatives arrested and charged with treason for spying for the American Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, 2, including Shaltai-Boltai, Humpty-Dumpty, mastermind Vladimir Anikeyev, ENG, have revealed under special questioning that the Vatican has contracted with Mexico's feared Juárez Cartel to assassinate Freemason leader President Donald Trump. With Freemason leader President Trump still withstanding the brutal and fast-moving coup against him, this report explains, these treacherous FSB spies for the CIA have revealed that Pope Francis is following the exact and bloody path of Pope Pius IX, who during the 1861–1865 American Civil War, that cost 2% of the population, an estimated 620,000 men, sided with the rebel forces against President Abraham Lincoln and sent Confederate President Jefferson Davis an autographed picture addressing him with the customary title Honorable, thus acknowledging him as President of a nation, and in doing so effectively recognized the Confederate States of America as a sovereign entity, separate from the United States of America. Not just Pope Pius IX and now Pope Francis siding with those seeking to destroy the United States does history record either, this report continues, but, also, Pope Pius XII, who while known as Hitler's Pope during World War II, aided the Nazis in destroying all German Catholic political opposition, and as secret Vatican files have revealed, aiding the Vatican in their plans to assassinate Freemason leader President Trump, this report further notes, is the self-acknowledged Nazi collaborator George Soros, who made his fortune by stealing the property of Jews prior to their being exterminated during World War II, and who today is spending hundreds of millions in his bid to destroy Freemason leader President Trump by flooding the streets of America with pathological mindless idiots in a tactic first used by German psychological intelligence operatives loyal to Adolf Hitler. Unlike the Vatican that has supported the destruction of the United States, this report continues, the Order of Malta, Knights of Malta, has for centuries protected those Freemason American leaders seeking to keep their nation free, including World War II General George S. Patton, who decisively defeated these Nazi monsters, thus earning this ancient order's Order of the Maltese Cross as a saint, and that has only been granted 16 times in history, and includes the Knights Templar founder Jacques de Molay and Saint Joan of Arc, and that Trump has more than frequently praised. In knowing the Knights of Malta's past in aiding American Freemason leaders, this report say, Pope Francis became enraged after this ancient order's leaders in the U.S. performed a Knights Templar anointing of Trump during his inauguration as president, thus causing the pontiff to order all Freemasons expelled from the Knights of Malta, firing the Knights of Malta leader, and then ordering the full destruction of them too. Most appalling about Pope Francis in his destruction of the Knights of Malta, this report continues, was his ordering this ancient order's leader to lie about Cardinal Raymond Burke, Archbishop and the patron of the Sovereign Military Order of Malta. In his resignation letter he was forced to write, whom the pontiff intends to have testify against America's Knights of Malta leader His Eminence Timothy Cardinal Dolan, Archbishop of New York, who not only anointed Freemason leader President Trump during his inauguration ceremony, but has, also, been his longtime protector. Also important to note, this report says, is that immediately after America's oldest traditionalist Catholic Church newspaper, The Remnant, sent an urgent plea through an open letter to Freemason leader President Trump begging him to save us from a vast Vatican-led conspiracy, Pope Francis immediately retaliated by having the Pilot, America's oldest Catholic newspaper, issue a grave warning to anyone in the Church associating with Freemasons, and that, in part, says, The Vatican's Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith declared in 1983 that the Church's negative judgment in regard to Masonic associations remain unchanged and that the faithful who enroll in Masonic associations are in a state of grave sin and may not receive Holy Communion. To the evil Vatican forces Freemason leader President Trump is battling against, this report reiterates the horrifying warning it made yesterday, and that said, with Pope Francis being the first Jesuit, Society of Jesus, leader of the Catholic Church in all of history, the reason this ancient order was not allowed to have one of its members become pontiff is due to their radical global agenda for the 21st century, and that includes 1. Economic communism and political fascism in the American empire, 2. Creating international anti-Jewish fury, 3. Creating international anti-Americanism, 4. Depression, anarchy, race war, martial law, foreign war and invasion, 5. Destruction of the empire's heretic Protestants, Baptists and Jews as well as liberals, and in order for the evil Jesuit Pope Francis and his George Soros-Hillary Clinton allies to bring about their hoped-for depression, anarchy, race war, martial law, foreign war and invasion of America. This report continues, these arrested for treason FSB-CIA spies have stunningly revealed that the Vatican has contracted with one of Mexico's most feared drug empires, called the Juárez Cartel, to infiltrate into the United States, at least 37 highly trained sniper hit teams to assassinate Freemason leader President Trump, but if failing to accomplish this main, central objective, to then unleash a mass killing spree of leftist protesters to blame on him. Not being told to these American people about this grave danger now facing them, this report explains, is that Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto was put into power by the Juárez Cartel, ENG. The Catholic Church has long exercised top-down dealings with these drug cartels, condemning them in public, but colluding with drug criminals on the ground. Former Mexican Secretary of Foreign Affairs, Jorge Castaneda Gutman, is now openly proclaiming that these drug cartels are being unleashed on the U.S. to destroy Freemason leader President Trump, and former Mexican President Vicente Fox justifying this coming death and destruction by saying Trump is Adolf Hitler and the Republican Party are all Nazis. Aiding the infiltration into the United States of these highly trained Mexican drug cartel sniper hit teams, this report continues, these FSB-CIA treasonous spies confessed, acknowledged was George Soros, who has paid $500 million to secret these elite killers into what are called sanctuary cities where forces loyal to Freemason leader President Trump will not be able to find them, and that astonishingly number in the hundreds, including California that is preparing to make their entire state a hideout for these international assassins. Should these Vatican Soros-Clinton-led Mexican drug cartel assassins be successful in killing Freemason leader President Trump, and or committing mass murder of leftist protesters, cannon fodder, this report further warns, European Union military forces are preparing to invade to the United States to restore order, and that EU President Donald Tusk has now provided the legal justification for by his declaring that America is now one of the most dangerous nations in the world. And with the EU having ordered the creation of this military St. army shortly after Freemason leader President Trump was elected this past November, this report gravely warns, horrifying reports from Germany are now showing that these officers and soldiers being prepared to invade America are being indoctrinated into Nazi occult sex magic practices, and as one shocking report details by stating, the female officer reported that the instructors forced them into completely senseless and sexually motivated exercises that involved soldiers inserting tampons into their anuses. Both male and female recruits were subjected to the abuse. These drills were also filmed. The troubling practices also included soldiers being tied down for hours and hosed down with water. With Freemason leader President Trump still showing no signs of backing down against these monsters and appointing as his EU ambassador Theodore Roosevelt Malik, who is vowing to bring down the European Union like he brought down Soviets. This report concludes, Security Council intelligence analysts still fail to believe that America's new leader can win this war as the mass numbers of people in the United States still remain asleep as to the full, and global, horrors going on all round them, that none of them can believe is true, and exactly like the German peoples in the 1930s 1940s who didn't awaken until their country had been completely destroyed, after which, of course, they woke up to the true and horrible facts of the pure satanic evil all around them, and at the cost of over 60 million human lives. From our 21 January report that we believe is worth your remembering, special message from Sister Sayers. Though age has dimmed my eyesight, it has not affected my mind, and as a young 18-year-old year novice in 1936, I remember well my distributing our Sorkafal pamphlets in my small German village of Remagen, warning of the strange and satanic rituals being performed by many of our military and political leaders. No one would believe such outlandish things as they were impossible to imagine, just like this report is, and the others below are too. So please let me advise you that just because a thing is too astonishing to believe, it does not make it untrue. My country learned this lesson much too late, yours doesn't have to.